Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Right, it's a cold one here this morning. It's -4 and here's Brian braving the cold. Some of the other ladies have come out to the run. Now I'm doing this video today because it's so cold, and I'm just going to talk about what I do in the winter for the little ones, because I quite often get asked if I use heating in my sheds. So I thought I'd do a little rundown of what I do. So the answer to that question about the heating in my shed is no, I haven't got heating in my sheds. I would like heating in my sheds, but no, I don't have heating. Basically, I haven't got electric to my shed at the moment. I've been keeping chickens for 10 years and I've never had heating in there. That's Brian doing his sexy dance. Now, in the UK, we don't get it as cold as some countries do. We had it -8 the other night, which is pretty cold for the UK. Well, it felt like -8, but it was the actual temperature was a little bit warmer. It was freezing. Today it's not going to get above 0. And like I say, it's 10 in the morning and it's still -4. In fact, I dropped some water down there, look, about 2 hours ago, and it's frozen. So, alright, so here's the shed. This is where the chickens stay at night. I've got 2 doors, one there to the big one and one there to the small one. Now at night they'll come in and they'll roost on these bars up here, which is normally okay, but if it drops below 2 Celsius, I will put them all in there. Now that's a rooster box. It's just to keep, I live quite close to my neighbours, so it's to keep the roosters quiet at night. It does work. There's plenty of ventilation in it. It's got ventilation holes everywhere. So yeah, when it goes below 2 Celsius, I'll put them all in there, and there's bars in there for them to sit on. One there and one there. Now, the other night when it got to -8, the water did freeze in this shed. It's a concrete floor. So after they all went in there at night, I got this cover here. This cover here, it's an old insulated curtain, and I'll pop that over there. Let me just show you. I'll just do that. There's still ventilation at the back, so they can still breathe and the heat will release slightly so they don't overheat, but it will still keep some of the heat in. Now, I used to keep large hybrids. I kept lots of different chickens and birds. Your larger birds, let's pack this up. Your larger birds normally don't have much problems with the cold, but these little ones, they can suffer, especially if you've got ones molting like Gemma or older ladies. Gemma's also quite an old lady now, and Cher, she's going grey. And they can suffer more than the younger chickens. So you have to be careful. I'll only cover them up when it goes down to -4, -8. -2 the other night, they were fine just in that box. Now if we had prolonged winters like some of you do, then I would consider getting heating in the shed for the Seramas. It'd be far easier, but we don't very often get minus temperatures in the UK. So that's what I do it for them at night. In the day, I'll just keep an eye on them. If there was a wind blowing, as well as being really cold, then I'd probably do the large run up, because they probably won't go out there this afternoon anyway. Once they've been out this morning, they'll all huddle in here and just use the small run. But there's no wind today. It's quite dry. And it should be okay. Hello, Peggy. Good girl. Now, another thing I do when it gets below freezing is I'll put Vaseline or petroleum jelly on Brian's comb, and also some of the females if they've got large combs. That's Peggy. She's not got a large comb. I haven't got any females at the moment with large combs, but Brian's got some Vaseline on his comb at the moment. I've just put it on. I've been doing this since I've kept chickens, and the only time I've ever got frostbite is when I didn't do it. I know there's a lot of people on social media now saying that it can make it worse, trap water in or something like that, but I'll carry on doing it because I've never had frostbite on any of my roosters or hens. Also, I used to keep large hybrids and I used to put it on their combs as well, and none of them ever got frostbite, and they used to free range all day in this thick snow. So yeah, so that's about it really. I don't do much else, just keep an eye on the waters, make sure they don't freeze over. Make sure they're nice and dry. All their substrate's dry in here. If there's a wind blowing and there's a chill on your run or your coop, shut your chickens in or cover your run with some tarpaulin. I've just checked the weather and it's -3 now. It's getting to 0 degrees for about an hour this afternoon, so I am going to close that large run off there so it keeps a bit warmer in here. They can have access to the little run, just keep the heat in a little bit more. So yeah, any questions please ask, and if you live in a country that gets it much colder, just pop in the comments what you do. I mean, it's different for large chickens and much more hardier. You keep the little Seramas or little tiny bantams, and just pop it in the comments and let me know what you do. Now on social media, when someone asks what they should do with their chickens when it's cold, you get some people saying nothing, just leave them. They've got their own duvets. How do they survive in the wild? Right, well, these birds, firstly, are not wild birds. In the wild, birds too die of the cold. I used to be a zookeeper and I used to work with birds, and we used to use heat lamps and heating for lots of our birds. Now, birds do die in the wild of cold. And for a bird to keep warm, it takes a lot of energy, which they get from their food. Now we can control that in a captive environment, so they don't have to worry about that so much. But it still takes their energy out of them. If you've got a bird that's molting, an old bird, or a sick bird that you don't know about, that you know, it's just a little bit under the weather, you've not noticed, you go and leave these poor birds in the cold, there's a possibility you will lose a bird. What birds do in the wild, if it's freezing cold, they'll all huddle together to keep warm, and the birds from the end will go into the middle, and they'll all swap places so that no one gets too cold. And occasionally a bird will die of getting too cold. Now, chickens are creatures of habit. They'll go up to perch as they usually do, and they won't move. Once it's dark, a chicken won't move. So that chicken's up on the perch as it usually does. It gets too cold. It's molting like Gemma. It's an old lady or an old man. You're going to wear that chicken down even more than it already is. It's taking energy from that chicken. So please, if you feel like your chickens should be kept a little bit warmer because the temperature's dropping really, really cold, and go with your gut instinct and help them keep warmer than they normally would be. Yes, they have got their duvets, they're built-in duvets, but it still takes a lot of energy for them to keep warm. Right, I'm going to get these little ones locked up. I've got some mealworms, and I'll give them a scatter of scratch mix, keep them warm for a bit, and I'll come and check on them later, make sure the waters are all clear of ice. I just wanted to add that oh, shivering sorry, I just wanted to add that chickens do let off a lot of heat in the coop at night together, and if you've got your coop outside and you've got snow on the top, that snow may melt because of the heat from the chickens. So you do have to be careful of them overheating, but when it gets into the minuses, like at the moment, -4 and that, and there's not much chance of them overeating that way. It's, especially with the little birds. The larger birds are a different story altogether, but again, they still need taking care of in the freezing cold. So yeah, I just wanted to add that if you do cover them where they sleep up, just make sure that some warmth can escape and they don't overheat. I've never had chickens overeat, and I've covered a lot of my coops up, apart from when I had large hybrids. But there was 8 in a small coop, so they were all keeping each other warm. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye.